I myself am not a gun owner. I have a bit of a temper, and a gun might not be the best thing for me. Now, having said that, I wonder, and you hear about it in the news all the time, particularly about white men and their guns. You hear that in the news, more than 3-4 times a week. And I see all this stuff about gun legislation, regulating this and regulating that as far as it comes to guns. Well, my question is this. The majority of people that this proposed gun legislation affects, it doesn't affect people that are actually killing folks in Vietnam wartime. We've lost more people. What did they say during if you combined, what was it? Was it Desert Storm and another war? More people have died in Chicago and Baltimore. Folks, a moment of logic. The people that are actually killing other people don't have permits for their guns. They're not conceal and carry. You hear about 4 reckless white guys having shot somebody. But we don't talk about, 69 deaths caused in the span of a night. You remember that infamous night in Chicago? We don't hear anything about that. And you know what's funny is that I'm willing to bet that none of the shootings involved a legally registered weapon. I see you, and I see your angles. Why the rest of the world does not see the scheming of politically correct culture. There are a few of us that get it. If 50% of violent crime, and a portion of that involves guns, is coming from a small segment of the community, why would you not focus on getting guns out of the hands of that community? And I have to tell you, any gun legislation that you pass isn't going to stop that. These guys are running around with guns, serial numbers scratched. They don't give a damn. They don't care about your gun legislation, and they're killing the most people. I'll tell you why. Right now, it is in season to demonize middle-aged white men. Right now, everything is their fault. No matter where you look. The guy working at the neighborhood Walmart that owns a gun is viewed as the enemy. But the baggy pants black guy walking around with a gun that he didn't buy full price, he didn't get training for, he didn't get registered for, is putting bullets in everybody. Nobody says anything. Gun owners shouldn't be targeted. They're not killing enough people. Gun holders who don't legally own their guns should be targeted. But the problem is a majority of those that are doing a massive amount of crime are black. You can't touch anything black. You touch something black, oh man, all of Facebook, armchair activists everywhere will converge on you. They'll be the first to shame you. And this is absolutely ridiculous. Why is it so hard to be honest in society about where trouble is? And why not try to fix trouble where it's at? No, we have to invent a situation for trouble to be in, even though it's not even located there. We must do that in order to feel good about ourselves. You know, I have no problem with laws that involve firearms. I don't have a problem with it. I do have a problem, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a gun owner. If a person is not committing a crime and wants to defend his household, whether you have 1 gun or 30 guns, if they're used responsibly, nobody dies, or the right person dies. Responsibility is what governs gun safety, not the number of guns that a person has. A person can have a silo of weapons, but if not one trigger is pulled in a reckless way, then nothing happens. Whereas in Chicago, Daquan can have 2 guns and do a world of damage because Daquan is not practicing the same level of responsibility. It's not about color. You know, everybody looks at a middle-aged white man. A responsible black man is safer than an irresponsible white man when it comes to a gun. A responsible white man is more responsible than an irresponsible black man. Most of our murders in this country by guns are coming out of one segment of the population, which nobody wants to touch. Because for one, it doesn't make good news. Too many blacks are dying at the hands of other blacks when it comes to guns. Not sensationalized enough. It's sensational when somebody white kills somebody black or somebody Latino. It's not sensational if a black person kills a white person with an unregistered gun. Double standards flying all over the place. You know, and there are people that are like, man, you're so out of touch. How am I out of touch? If I paint the scenario correctly, let's say I am a reckless black man and I come to your house and I shoot up the place with a 9mm. Whereas there's another guy, let's say a white guy, comes into a place with a 9mm, responsible, doesn't shoot up the place, and when I get home, I've got an AK-47. I've got a rocket launcher. I mean, I've got an arsenal. But the only time I ever use it is to practice, and that's it. We paint pictures of militiamen, you know, and there are some militias running around here, popping off guns, getting ready for the race war that's never going to happen. Stupidly. I had a friend from work, loves his guns. I would feel safer around him than I would Pookie from the hood. And it sounds so politically incorrect me saying this. This sounds very racist because not everybody's Pookie, but I'm talking about Pookie. Pookie scares me. Him and his one gun, him and his irresponsible ass with that one gun scares me. Folks, when are we going to start being afraid of the right people instead of trying to demonize a group that is not even contributing to violence in such a horrific way? It's not about race. It's about the location and the demographics of the people that are actually killing people. Can we deal with that? Or are we too stupid and politically correct to do the right thing? Feel free to drop a comment. Would love to hear from you in our small podcast. And smash that like button if you like what we talk about. And consider subscribing to Empirical Planet. Take care.